Japanese manga demographics affect anime, and if they do, how so? So as many of us know, the demographics are based on which Japanese magazine the series is published in. Things are changing in Japan, especially since so many series are getting published online or on apps. They're not going through like the traditional printed magazines anymore. But still, demographics do serve a purpose because it markets the series to the right audience. And that's exactly the case that happens with anime. It gets the series to the right audience. And it's not just the case in Japan. Once those series do make it to a Western audience, those demographics still help get that series to the right audience. Since you mentioned Toradora, let's use that as an example of a shounen romance. And I will tell you, nothing about this romance series reads off as a shoujo romance. Like, the tropes are completely different. The over-the-top tsundere female, the over-the-top violence, both the tropes as well as the character archetypes are very characteristic of shounen romance. And this is not to say that there are no women that like Toradora, because there are, but some of these tropes and archetypes just do not appeal to a female audience as much as a male audience. For me personally, this was one of the most irritating romances out there, even in the shounen demographic. I just could not stand the over-the-top, like, tsundere personality, the violence, the lack of communication. Like, nothing really, like, flowed very well for me. And if I compare it to a shoujo romance, yes, things take a little bit longer to build up and the communications to start, like, flowing a little bit better between the protagonists, but it just seems a lot more authentic. And personally, I just like a little bit more vulnerability as opposed to like harshness in a way. And if I'm craving something a little bit more funny, less like heartfelt, there's still comedies that have that vulnerability but also don't feel like super fluffy, I guess. You can say the same thing with seinen romance. Here we have My Dress Up Darling, which is a series that I personally love, but I can definitely see how this is very different from a josei romance. The personal connection and some of the moments between the protagonists are just very heartfelt. But then you get stuff like this that really like makes it obvious who the intended audience is. And then you have all the figures as well. It makes it pretty clear who the target audience is, and it's not females. And again, if we compare it to a josei romance, you can see there's much more emphasis on the human connection that me as a female manga reader and anime watcher, like, I just really grav towards this a lot more. Like, these tropes, these character archetypes and development, like, this is what I personally live for. So yes, the demographics do matter because it gets the series to the right audience. It also makes things a lot easier so you can find other series that you might enjoy.